Hey, well, today, Monday at 10:02 a.m., this is our final video for our Missional Moments series. As you can tell, I've been able to practice the first of our practices of peace, the practice of pause, the keeping of a Sabbath. So I've been able to get some time away from the city. So, recording to you from upstate today. Um, so what we've been looking at, just to kind of wrap this entire series up, is essentially the call of the Christian is the call to be a peacemaker. So Jesus, remember, in the Sermon on the Mount said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." And to be a Christian is to not only have experienced the free gift of peace with God, but to also see it as your personal mission to offer that peace, to establish that peace, that shalom, everywhere you go in the world. And so that's what we've been looking at. And we've really tried to boil down this calling to be a peacemaker into practices. And the reason for that, just as a reminder, is a lot of times in Christianity, of course, our beliefs are important, and there are lots of elements of the Christian faith that are important. But what practices does is that it centers action. So it puts doable, um, achievable action at the center of the way that you live. And so practices help us to move into that place of doing and following and being with Jesus. And so those five practices, first practice was P for pause. And again, have the opportunity to do that personally now, which is a much needed break. It was the practice of a Sabbath. Eat is the practice of seeing our meals as having spiritual significance. So, can we intentionally eat with others and use that meal as a way to establish that shalom? The third practice is A for ask, which is to ask great questions that spark great spiritual conversations. Are there a handful of questions that you know really help people explore the spiritual elements and of who they are and the spiritual journey that we all are on? C last week was commune, and we admitted that was probably the hardest one to pull off. But how can you find one or two or three other Christians to join you in keeping these practices and holding each other accountable and encouraging each other in that? And then the very last one was examine, which we looked at last Sunday or last Monday. And so we're practicing peace. And so I hope that you will be able to walk away from this. You're not going to be able to do all five of them, start all five of them at once, but I hope you can find one or two that you can get started on and make real concrete progress in making it into a regular habit, a spiritual practice in your life. But ultimately, my hope as we keep these practices, there are a couple of mindsets that I hope these practices begin to instill in you. And the first mindset is every Christian is sent with the mission of God precisely where you are. So you are sent if you're a Christian. God has sent you with his purpose, with his mission as his ambassador. That's one mindset to really cultivate with these practices. The second mindset goes along with it, and that's you're empowered. If you're a Christian, you have the Holy Spirit of God living within you. You have everything you need to live on mission for Jesus, to live for the mission of Jesus in the manner of Jesus. And so you're empowered to do that. And then thirdly, a third mindset there is the belief that you actually stay closest to Christ precisely when you're on mission with Christ. And so Leslie Newbegin once famously said, the best motivation for being on mission is a desire to be with Jesus where he is, between the usurped dominion of the devil and the coming reign of God in Jesus Christ. And so those mindsets, you're sent wherever you go. You are empowered by the Spirit of God and the gospel of grace. And you stay nearest to Jesus by staying close to him on mission. I hope those mindsets are things that you walk away with. But God bless you as you seek to implement these practices of peace in your own life. And I'm excited to hear the stories of what God will do through these very small, ordinary steps. And yet God delights to use the ordinary and the weak to do extraordinary things so that he would get the glory. So thanks for joining me over these weeks. I pray that God would bless you as he sends you out to be his peacemaker right where you are as you keep these practices. So thanks again, and God bless.